What is good? What is good? What is Gucci? Courtney IG, and I'm back again. And this time I'm here to talk about Kendrick Lamar's fifth studio album, double album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So, guys, this album comes a full 5 years after the Damn album from Kendrick, and which saw Kendrick infuse trap, R&B, pop, just making it a bit more palatable for the masses, you know, with songs like DNA, Loyalty, Humble, Element. And that was in contrast to the more culturally dense body of work that we got with To Pimp a Butterfly, which infused like more jazz, funk, soul. For me, I was diving into that album at moments throughout, you know, the lockdown, especially with all of the injustices, Black Lives Matter, all of that movement. And coming into this album, though, guys, the songs that I was tapping into, believe it or not, was nothing. I didn't want to tap into this album until I had time to really sit down and appreciate it and share my thoughts with you guys like I love to do. So, of course, I knew in 2021, he had his presence on Baby Keem's The Melodic Blue album, his cousin, and the trap banger Family Ties, alerting me to the fact that the hiatus could be coming to an end. So, guys, yeah, man, let's just jump into my thoughts. So the album opens up with the moving words of United in Grief. This sees Kendrick going through a stream of introspective questions on his journey through rap. I think for like how long it is. I think it was like 19 years or something I looked up, or 15. But yeah, it seems him just drawing on the bad or the good, and like, you know, from spending habits, mansions, jewelries, going to therapy, mental battles he had with himself, which is a thread throughout. And it feels like an isolated conversation with his thoughts just scattered all over the place, and it's like it's just getting louder and louder, like the speech, and that just comes right into the explosive N95, which of course is about the COVID mask, and this again sees Kendrick drawing on using that COVID mask to like illustrate how people kind of rely on superficial things to paste over the cracks, which live under the surface. And then he dives a bit into the political angle and how, like, I think it's like how we were meant to come into a new world, but it's not a new world. It's just, they just lied. Like, they've been lying to you guys. Like, it's all a lie. Like, it's not better. It's really unapologetic, which I like about it. I like the energy. It's like, you can't be fooled. Don't be fooled. They're lying to you. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get. And then he switches the tone into something which feels a bit more poetic in like spoken word format with Worldwide Steppers, which again is a bit like forbidden fruit indulgence, where he's referencing like sleeping with white women and how it went against what he thinks his ancestors would want for him. And then, yeah, you know, then drawing on food and like Dr. Sebi cleaning out his toxins. It feels like he's cleaning out on this song, actually. And then he's referencing about the silent killers that we overlook that impact us, like food in Black community, you know, greasy, all of that food that we're eating, which are actually silent killers and killing us. Large Up Kodak, few moments on this album, of course, introducing the song, and, you know, he really demonstrates his consciousness and how he can clearly articulate himself. It's not just like, you know, ratchet hype stuff. Like, this guy can actually give you like substance, and he does again on the interlude. And like, people don't give attention to that kind of side of Kodak, and I feel like he demonstrated it well here. The switch ups throughout the album, guys, are very fluent, as he talks about, you know, flows and it's an open flow to like the challenges in the relationships. I like how he talks about praying for London and, you know, Nipsey, and yeah, rest in peace Nipsey, man. It's really relatable music. Kendrick showing his insecure side on Die Hard. And yeah, man, it really just makes sense. Like the Father Time then, guys, which comes, is like that alpha male toxic masculinity which is pushed. Like, if you want to be a man, you can't show no emotion. If you want to be a man, you can't show no weakness. Like, you can't cry, you can't, that ain't being a real man. Like, and then it's like you get that anger and that emotion coming more in We Cry Together, where it's like a overwhelming, like overpowering, like back and forth argument there. And yeah, those two songs like kind of thread together. And Father Time hits deep as it really links that kind of missing father figure to the reason why gang culture is as it is, the violence stemming from like a missing father figure in your life, and lack of openness to like a father figure. And yeah, Sanford, man, that's like claps, man, because like what you do there is truly remarkable. Like, it really does feel like therapy, therapeutic, which, as I mentioned, is like a common thread throughout, and which comes across even more in Rich Spirit. We then come into the second half of the album, guys, which I was just playing a bit earlier on with Count Me Out, which feels like a completely different feel to United in Grief. Me? Yeah, and I like how it's like United in Grief was a bit more superficial, and here it feels like he's breaking through the ceiling, like, and feeling like fresh, like I'm new, I'm revitalized, and like I'm blessed. Like, this is me and I'm blessed. This is me and I'm blessed. This is me and I'm blessed. Like, that repetition of that really just makes you feel like, yeah, this is me. Flaws and all, this is me. This is how I am. Accept me for how I am. And yeah, as I said, it's a bit of a contrast from the intro to the album, the other half of the album. But I like it, man. I like it. Like, doubters, like, just accept me for who I am. That's the feeling I get from that. And I like it. You can't please everyone. Like, you can't try to live your life to please people, as he mentions on Crown. You may be thinking now, guys, like, wow, Courtney, this is sounding like a deep, deep album. It is, as I will say in my conclusion. But there is some, like, turn up, more like lighter stuff, you know, as Kendrick comes through with a straight trap bop with Kodak again showing up on the second half, Silent Hill on his Sniper Gang vibe, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and then on Savior, even though it has a somber intro, it then slaps on the drop, which I think comes in about the 44-second mark. Coming off my head. 44-second mark. And it's not just production-wise. It slaps because of the questions that he's pushing in your face. Like, on sheepism and collectivism, and just, like, you know, the whole blacked out screens and COVID and everything which was around those times, which segues perfectly into Auntie's Diaries, where he touches on the transitions of his family members, his auntie becoming a man. My auntie is a man now. My auntie is a man now. He repeats that again. Like, he's not saying these things without chest, man. He's not skipping over anything. He's telling you as it is. And I like that, and I respect that, because I don't know if like a Drake or whoever else you would say is in the top tier would be doing this on an album, like coming out saying that for like, but Kendrick is a different kind of artist, which I'll get to in my conclusion. As we get to close out the album, guys, and the single Heart Part 5, Kendrick gives us Your Mother I Sober, like a deep dive into sexual abuse, which his mother was faced with, his traumas, and more widely common the traumas which come in the black community. It's a really deep song. Like, so yeah, guys, I came out of this album like, wow, this really was like a cinematic journey through topics, which is not only, yeah, black community, but it's like everyday person is impacted by this. It really showed me the levels artistically between Kendrick and his peers. To me now, like, to be honest, like Drake, you've let it slip on 2 albums now. Like that House one wasn't it. Certified Lover Boy wasn't it. Like on the decline. So for me, it's really solidified his position, Kendrick, as like top dog. Not to say, like, not to play on words, but top dog. Like, and like it's just so meaningful. It's not temporary microwave music. It's like, it's really substantial. This isn't an album for surface level trap turn up listeners. If you want that, you get it somewhere else. If you want to be taken on a journey and you want to invest into a body of work which actually makes you feel fulfilled and challenged mentally into different things in your life and what's going on around in the world, then listen to this. It's sensitive at times, it's emotive at times, but it's an album, it's art, it's a body of work, which is, for me, enjoyable and invokes emotion and thought when you really listen properly and indulge in it. I didn't fully get the split transition between part 1 and part 2 on the first time listen. Maybe I got to listen more to pick it up. Of course, I liked how it started on the first intro one way, and then on the second intro, it was a different kind of palette, like landscape. But yeah, it was good actually. I like that, how it kind of like, yeah, I gave you that. It's a lot. Pause. Let's come back. Start again. Never have. So yeah, it was refreshing. But somebody put me on if I missed it. There's a lot of good tracks here, but to give you a top 3, which come with different kind of vibes, I would say Father Time, Rich Spirit, Silent Hill, you know, Sniper Gang, all of that. For me, guys, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for me. It couldn't be anything less than that. And you know what to do, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Inspire, enrich.